Ooh. Ooh. Oh, 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 we are the chosen. La, 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 la. Parasite, but give actual achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe J Movies So Awesome. I'm Joe.
I'm Won-Jin.
Welcome back, ZZ and Skywalker. We're gonna do a spoilers review of Brutalist.
Mm-hmm.
Full spoilers ahead. We gave a shout out already, so you know who you are. We love you all, 56 subscribers. Thank you so much. Here we go. Yo, Won-Jin, right off the bat, I gotta say, I did not expect Guy Pearce to take off his pants and do what he did.
Me neither.
That was,
that was disturbing. That reminded me of that movie with Monica Bellucci and what's his name, Vincent Cassel.
Well, okay, but for
Irreversible, that was the movie. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as intense as that, but still, that tunnel, that darkness, and
I actually disagree because I'm gonna show you why. The Irreversible one was almost a documentary. But this one, it was a painting.
It was symbolic.
Exactly. It was like watching, that painting by, what's the Kronos eating his son, basically eating his Zeus kind of moment where, like, it. But the scary thing is, it just answers for us what's been happening between Adrien Brody and Guy Pearce's character.
No, I did some study, and Zedzi say you didn't know why they chose that movie title, but Brutalism was actually like an architectural style.
Yo, you know what?
That was, symbol. I mean, that can be defined by like a minimalist approach.
I did the same thing because after watching the movie, I was like, so why is this Brutalist? And then I Google searched Brutalist, and that's how I knew.
Okay, the exposed concrete, all these things. That's known as Brutalism.
And this movie reminded me a lot of Parasite because the architecture represents what's going on in the movie.
Exactly, that's a good point.
And it almost felt like if Bong Joon-ho's Parasite, if Bong Joon-ho actually brought out his cardboard like cartoon.
Oh, you mean the storyboard?
Yeah, storyboard, and just the screen splits in two, and they just put it on there. It was, in a way, it was kind of on the nose.
Yeah.
But you know what's different from Parasite? Like, Adrien Brody is actually competent.
Yeah.
And he's actually, because there's a big difference between Parasite and this one, though, is throughout the movie, Guy Pearce is jealous of his talents, the genius, the artisticness of it.
It reminded me a lot of what's his name, Salieri from Amadeus. It's this jealousy you feel when you're already accomplished, yet you know how mediocre you are, and when you meet like true talent, you just cannot shake off that jealousy.
But there's a huge difference, though. Salieri has a lot of fucking money and power, and Oh,
you mean Salieri or Guy Pearce?
I'm saying the Salieri in this version.
Okay.
I'm basically agreeing with you.
You got to understand, Salieri, even in Amadeus, he was pretty well off.
Not as well off as being the boss.
Yeah, because here he's an industrialist.
And there are hints of his, because remember, his very first introduction is him having a temper trend, like a temper trend. So that was a hint where this man can raise you up, could throw you out in a minute. And
yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Because his son and his similarities are, his son is basically him if he decides to take off his mask.
That's right. And they also share the same names, Harry Jr.
And you know how Harry, in the beginning of the movie, I did enjoy the way he talked. But as the movie progressed, it just became more and more annoying and pretentious. Like, You
mean the son? Harry
No, the father.
You mean Guy Pearce. Harrison.
Yeah, he keeps saying, I found our discussion intellectually
stimulating.
No, but before the big essay scene, there is a very great scene of who Guy Pearce really is. He's watching these people party, and he's basically like a evil
offender?
Evil offender. Watching down, drinking, looking down on these Italians. Remember before he says, I hate working with Spics?
This is why I don't do business with Italians.
And that's when I thought, And the movie did such a great job because when he was out looking for Adrien Brody character,
Adrien Brody,
László. They reversed it. I thought I knew László was doing the drug, but as soon as Harry's character is drunk, he says all these things like anti-Semitism.
Yeah,
basically
anti-Semitism, and we learn about his bigotry. So I love how the movie progresses. As the movie progresses, we see this dark side of this seemingly prestigious industrialist.
And he's doing what every king does, because remember, his son and the Jamie guy, the architect working with László, they're representing his interest. You remember those guys trying to cut cost? So the king comes off as a gentleman, but he's actually complicit in trying to cut cost of that building. There's a huge contrast where he claims it's his for his mother, but he's willing to cut cost. While Adrien Brody, we later found out that he was trying to represent the concentration camp, but he's willing to put in his own money. Like, remember, this like in the middle of the movie, that's when we know where they stand on things, what
it's
they
like
put
an
value in.
Artist and a capitalist.
Exactly. And that was done really well. And I gotta say, Felicia Jones, the wife,
Felicity Jones?
Yeah, she was a great surprise.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know she was an actor in that caliber.
Yeah, me neither. And Adrien Brody, I think this is his best performance since The Pianist. Like the first 10 minutes, I was already sold. You know, like how he was crying when he met his cousin in Philadelphia? I was like, oh shit. This actually feels like a documentary now.
No, but don't you think you could argue that this is the same movie as Pianist?
Kind of. Yeah, sort of. Except, the essay and...
Yeah, except the more brutal aspects of it. Oh,
And-
sorry, Zenzi. That was not just disturbing, but also unnecessary. Did we really need that display of shit drilling? At the end, I realized that the movie wasn't about a person, but about a building.
Well, I guess it's also about a building. Now, let's go back to the beginning, because
The first scene, I wanted
one
to
thing
say
I
that.
thought about the movie and how the movie was kind of unique was like the way the credit was presented, because it was very different from regular movie.
Oh, that's a great point, man.
I was constantly thinking that I was at like this an exhibition of visual artists, because like how the credit was designed. That's what like a designer would do, like a visual artist.
Remember the studio for this, A24? They're famous for this. Very independent film supporting.
It was very artistic. It was very like visual design, and I love how like there are these like parallel moments throughout the movie. So the movie begins with the Sofia being interviewed, and also Adrien Brody making his way out of this boat. And it's so dark, it's difficult to see. And once he emerges from the ship, we finally realize that he's in New York. And we see that later, like something similar later, when they're going through the building that the project that he was building, the community center. They go down, and then
no, it's not
they
just
come
that.
up.
Remember,
and then the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
It's inverted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that.
And that is very, very strange, because Statue of Liberty is supposed to represent like freedom
and
what like
that
the
is?
American value.
It's not for you.
Yeah, it's upside down.
Yeah, it was so like I felt like when that happened, I was like, "You're gonna get fucked, aren't you?" Because you know why? Because the movie name is Brutalist. So I did not understand until I saw that scene where the Statue of Liberty was like, "Oh, so this movie, you're gonna be brutalized, you, Mr. Adrien Brody, Hungarian Jew." So
it doesn't give the same optimism or I don't know, this promising life of that comes with America. So that was a very, very unique scene in the beginning.
You know what I liked about this? This kind of, we titled this video Once Upon a Time, but I'm so glad, like, they didn't portray the immigrant as a criminal. I like that a lot. And I also like how they mentioned the Magyar, like the Hungarian, their lineage and ancestry. And I like how subtle it is. This movie is called Brutalist. It's super violent without bloodshed. Until the guy appears pulling his pants down scene. Because Because you get that hint once László gets kicked out from the cousin's house, and the way the wife is looking at him.
Yeah.
I was like, this is like 12 Years a Slave without the actual N-word. Like you're starting to feel that.
And it's especially extra brutal because we know that he didn't come from nothing. He used to be a distinguished professional in his field, and he's done great work. And when he's in America, that's all gone basically. He needs to start over, and he says it himself. He gets kicked out to the streets like a dog. Just imagine how much damage to his self-esteem is being done. And his cousin Atilla, that's also an interesting point, because I thought his wife was pretty intriguing. We get very little of her, and I remember like the first thing she says, one of the first dialogues she says to Adrien Brody, László, is that basically she's saying that you need to fix your nose. So, yes, it could be an aesthetic thing, but that's basically, how his cousin converted to Catholic? He became a Catholic, but a lot of my friends who are Jewish, when they get married, their spouse usually converts to Judaism. They never let go of that.
They also mentioned that here with the lawyer and the wife.
Yeah. And we can see that Atilla erased his own heritage. And I can tell from that dialogue that it's probably because that's what Audrey wanted. And the very fact that she says that to Adrien Brody's face at their first introduction, I was thinking, wow, that's, like you said, that's being very, very violent without being violent.
No, and it's the archetype of the self-hating Jew. Remember, you have a lot of Jewish friends. They'll tell you about the archetype of the self-hating Jew. You want to fit in your community. Yet, there are lines here that are interesting, though. Like, are you Gentile and stuff like that? But you know why it works? It's because they are never, in this movie, we never have Michael Fassbender whipping your fucking ass naked or trying to outright essay you. But it's happening all the same because that's, why that here, László is self-destructive. He never shouts until the essay scene, but before you kind of get the sense that he's dying slowly,
and he's trying to escape the reality,
the oppressiveness of him and Harry's asshole son, Harry Jr. And it culminated in that.
And when he visits the Van Buren mansion for the first time, one thing I need to point out is the music.
Oh, great observation.
Yeah, the music. I really like the music here because it's a beautiful, beautiful property, like some of the characters mentioned in the movie. But that music is what gives that eerie feeling. So you feel like something's gonna go wrong here, and it just gives that feeling.
I thought it was more Guy Pearce's acting though, because he's almost mechanical and is saying And you know what sold it for me? When Maggie was nice, because Harry's Jr.'s twin sister, I was like, okay, that means Harry's a fucking asshole, isn't he? And because we already got that, because he didn't pay for the labor. And not only does he do that, he shorts, him and the other guy shorts the money to build his great grandmother's monument. Not just that, but Harry the Elder's mask is always being chipped out little by little. And in that train scene, remember, he fires them all. He just fires them just like that. Just like he brought László out of the slums. Yeah,
and like you said, he can raise you up. He can just throw you out in an instant.
But the movie works because one of the best scene of the movie is a man like that. Despite that, the grace of God is still shining on him at the end. We don't know whether he died or not. But remember, when they search for him, he decides to hide himself in that let's call it a cathedral, because that's what it is.
The chapel. Yeah, I think that's the...
Let's just call it a cathedral, because that's what it is. There's a chapel inside the cathedral. But he decides to go run there. But remember, the cross that we've been hearing so much about, the light coming in naturally, It shines on that. So that could be interpreted as whether God is watching or God forgives you despite who you are.
I don't know, because I also had a very different interpretation.
Yeah.
Because that cross shining down, remember, that was also inverted. Have you noticed that? And
okay,
that just like the inverted Statue of Liberty, that cross and the image of that light making that cross on the screen, it slowly fades out, and you can clearly see it's a inverted cross.
But don't you think because they did the camera work and actually showed it up again, you could interpret that as judgment or forgiveness. That's what I felt. Like, I mean, there's no right and wrong here, but I thought that was an interesting choice.
So
not show Harry die.
Yeah, I was thinking it's basically, I thought maybe it was trying to like expose the evil and cruelty.
But here's the thing though. The center gets built. Remember in the epilogue?
Yeah.
There's a 10-year halt, but they decide to build it. So
in the 70s.
They don't explain it. That could be a different sponsor than Harry, I guess. But you could interpret that as Harry actually survived and decided to go with the project anyway. And László decided to finish it because László, you know how like his wife said, "Oh, he's such a narcissistic piece of shit," but it turns out he was making this for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody, because it reminded me of the first scene of that's why his niece is mute because of the abuse. And I thought that was just a great symbol. Oh, by the way, I'm not an architectural, but I did. Hey, here's the opinion. I did not like the building that much, though. I thought it was fucking ugly.
I guess in that sense, we're kind of like Audrey in the beginning because she doesn't understand the aesthetics of his furniture. You know, when he makes that with steel and stainless steel and leather, it's so modern. Yet it's not just about the aesthetics. You know how Adrien Brody comments on their furniture that they're not beautiful. And throughout the movie, we learn that when he says something's not beautiful and something's ugly, it's not just about the aesthetics. It means that it's deprived of philosophy. It's deprived of worldview. So basically, he's surrounded by very mediocre people, and he himself is a genius. So they don't understand. They don't share his worldview. And for some reason, Harrison Van Buren somehow understands that shit. Yet, again, he's a capitalist. I think he also symbolizes capitalism itself, how it can just chew you up and spit you out anytime.
And not just that, but remember, he also recognized why László insisted on the Italian concrete.
So, I mean, you mean the marble?
Yeah, the marble. So here's a man who has enough intellectual genius, I mean, not genius, but taste to know what is genius.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have genius himself. And isn't that the tragedy of every critic? You know, you can't make the movie, but you know that it is genius.
You can judge it. You cannot create it.
And that goes back to your description of Amadeus.
Yeah.
Because he knows that Mozart is the genius. He just can't do it. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Zezzy, you left a lot. I thought about tarot cards, yeah, because the light cross is the right position, but the sky window cross is filling upside down. Okay. So it is something like it was the way God wanted it to be, but then the reverse cross is the continuation of the message. But God abandoned us in the end. Yeah, but László also does some hardcore sex with his wife, so, like, you know, it's the...
And I also like how the movie touched the stark contrast between post-war Europe and America. And you know how, like, in the dinner table, they ask László and Elizabeth about, like, what happened in Europe and blah, 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 blah. And you can see that, like, the memory kind of haunts them. But you can see
they said so
that,
much without saying anything.
Yeah, but America, they're still so optimistic and naive about things. Everything's all good. And we can see that these European immigrants, they're like struggling from that memory, especially the Jews. And I like how the movie was so long, yet it didn't feel like 3.5 hours long.
Really?
I did not know the film was 3.5 hours.
I disagree with you.
Really?
I definitely felt it.
I was kind of surprised that there was an intermission, you know, because like the last movie I watched with an intermission, I think, was Kingdom of Heaven.
Yo, I disagree with you. When they show me intermission, you know what I said? Fuck!
I'm just halfway.
What? I'm sorry, man. Because there are few movies that for me got away with being super long. One is Raised with Wolves.
Oh, you mean Dances with Wolves?
Oh, Dances with Wolves. And another one is Once Upon a Time in America, the director's version.
Yeah, director's cut.
Yeah, and just but
maybe Lord of the Rings.
I gotta say, this one needed to be 20 minutes shorter.
Really?
3 hours was the limit for me. Like,
and I also like the style of the movie because while I was watching it, I couldn't help but like search. I'm like, is this based on a true story? Because the movie makes you feel like it. Yeah, I was wondering, is this László Toth guy real? And turns out this is all original writing.
Okay.
And it's even shot in a way that kind of fools you to believe that this actually happened. Even the epilogue at the end, you know how it's shot, like they're actually at the exhibition.
Yeah,
and
and
stuff.
they show a lot of 60s like images.
Yeah.
Oh wait, the fact that the movie levitates around a building that symbolizes power, strength, power is even reflected in the scene when they picked up marble. I also agree with Joe. The building was ugly. Also, the building was meant to resemble a prison, concrete walls. Yeah, it actually reminded me more of a mausoleum than a chapel.
Oh, that's true. Because even that marble stone in the middle feels like a coffin.
Yeah, because remember, you get that feeling when they visit Italy. And Guy Pearce's acting was fucking brilliant. When the guy pours
water on the stone,
and
then he touches it and he puts his cheek on it.
Yeah, because there's something sacred about it. But you and I, we don't know what that is yet until they tell us in the epilogue. Like, why is he dedicate? You know, because László character is interesting in that he's narcissistic, but he's also self-effacing. Because he's not making it for himself. He's making it for the pain he suffered, which is universal. Because at the epilogue, you see the Jews gathered around and to commemorate that.
Yeah.
And you can say all about László and his wife. You cannot take away the love that they have for their niece. Like, that was powerful for me because, we're already seeing the immigration 2.5 to 3.5 saying you need to live a better life. And the fact that she decides to go back. And here's another thing. Unlike other American period drama where the American dream is half realized or fucked up like Scarface, here they go back to Israel.
That's right.
And it's like fuck this. That was hilarious.
And then we finally understand why the movie started with the inverted Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, it's kind of
it's not for you.
Yeah, fuck this dream. It's for German-looking, Anglo-Saxon-looking. Who had
these wasps.
Oh, fuck. That was hilarious unintentionally. I was like, fuck, let's go back to Israel. Yeah, because all you get is drugs, abuses, and treated like a white N-word.
And, man, I also like that character Gordon. Because he also symbolizes a lot of things. He's and you can see that he's a single father. He's an African American. He's a war veteran.
No, but remember, here's the thing: when Guy Pearce S.A.'s Brody, it's about that racism class happening. The white gives Jewish like the hate, so he starts shouting at kids, and Gordon. That's about the pain going down, like shit running downhill.
That's right.
Like the racism here boils down to the racism there, where Gordon, who has been and another thing, Gordon, I agree with you. Gordon is such a brave man because he defeated heroin addiction.
Oh, that's right. He's like, I'm off that.
I was like, this is one of the most refreshing things I've seen in television. Because it made me remind me of the American Gangster film where RZA pretends to be a junkie.
What was it? Blue Magic.
Yeah, here.
American Gangster.
Yeah, here, African American man looks a Jewish man straight in the eye and said, "I cut the habit, and you should too." And he fails. Oh, sorry, Zenzi. The light at the end of the tunnel means freedom, but in the scene, freedom cannot be obtained because it's not reachable, being so far of the observer. But here's the thing, though. László did have a victory because he's famous enough to have his architecture like showcased like that.
And I think he mentioned it with his conversation with Van Buren. You know how he had that really poetic answer to everything.
I know,
he was saying that his why architecture? That was the question. Yeah, I remember. His answer was that he wants the buildings to be there forever and become like a political stimulus. And I think it, based on the epilogue we see in the end, I think his objective is realized.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the same reason why pyramids are here. Not different. That's a bad comparison. I'm sorry, because no matter who have power, money, all that, it doesn't matter. It's in the end what you leave behind to have something more meaning than that. More meaning than just money and power. You know, and I like that symbol too. And I hated that fucking Harry Jr. guy so much. I was so worried when he sat next to the niece.
Yeah, that was very subtle. What's your interpretation? I think she was raped. I mean, I think she was SA'd.
I wanted to answer to that, but I think the film, just like they don't show Harry dying, right? Because I feel like Harry not dying is symbolic of guys like Harry still being around and not being, because she fixes her clothes. So you know what it is, Won-Jin? I would like to think that she has not been SA'd. Like, this is just me personally.
And I was also finding interesting, you know, how Harry Jr. reacted at the accusation of Erzsébet.
You know, that's a guilty person.
Yeah,
right?
Harry's father being rapiste.
Yeah. That's fucking good.
Yeah, I don't think Google's AI is gonna catch this. Rapiste. Yeah. So he was clearly overreacting, and that scene was so well shot. It kind of makes you feel like disturbed and really uncomfortable. How like a disabled person is being dragged out like an animal.
Yeah. So you're saying he's acting that way because he himself is a scraper.
Or I was also coming up with the theory that he himself is also a victim of molestation.
Of scraping.
Yeah.
By the father.
Maybe, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't really explain like why he reacted that way.
Yeah. Yeah, the scraping was kind of like that scraping education over
Rapping.
Okay. No, because I think rapping, like I think we have to put a different alphabet on it to kind of get the stench away. Oh, Zezzy, I'm so glad you're engaged today. Being so far above the observer, but God, it was cold. The movie felt cold and unpleasant. No, the junior did something for sure. Okay, so you think so? You know, I can tell.
The vibe is there. She got SA'd, and you can know it wasn't her. Oh, that's a very sharp observation, because remember, a lot of the Jews in concentration camps, they were abused. That was very common. Yeah, she went through a war. she's been through shit.
No, but
that's true.
This is kind of like Schindler's List in the fact that when she says it's not about the journey, it's the destination. We fucking survived. Look at my daughter.
Right.
Double V. Look at Adrien Brody still alive in a wheelchair. Fuck you all.
We're still here.
Yeah.
And so are the buildings.
Yeah. So that was good.
Scott Walker, what's up?
Yo, in 5 minutes we're gonna start Let's Talk. Scott Walker, don't worry, brother. So let's do number grade now.
I think I could give this movie an 8. I think I like this movie better than, well, not better, but
different, right?
It's different. Also, share some like common messages with Honora, in my opinion. But I think I like this movie a little bit better.
No, but Won-Jin, I have to ask this question then. Compared to other American epic period pieces, how do you rate this? Does it belong with the famous one, like Once Upon a Time in America?
No, I don't
Scarface?
think so. Because I don't think this was meant to be like mass appealing. It felt kind of like, you know, those like artistic movies. It kind of felt like the semi-artistic movie that's kind of hard to understand.
I think the problem here is like, because you remember in Once Upon a Time in America, they start off with their childhood. You know, because every true epic needs a childhood, like 30 minutes at least.
Yeah.
Like Goodfellas. Even Goodfellas has 20 minutes of childhood.
Yeah.
But here that's totally missing. László is already a broken man when he arrives in America, right?
We only need to just assume that he went through some horrible stuff in Europe, but we don't exactly know what happened. And also, there are a lot of these like shots in the movie that I had trouble understanding. It's like, why is this being shown? Because remember, every shot has an intention. It's there because they have limited time. If it's there, despite the limited time, it's got to have some meaning. But there were some things that I couldn't understand.
So I have a question. Are you going to watch it a second time?
Maybe.
Okay.
I might, because like I said, because there were some things I couldn't understand. I'm hoping that maybe another time, if I watch it again, then maybe I'll kind of understand.
Okay.
Because now I have context.
But if you know she's a SA survivor because she's mute, right? No, but I thought her being mute was, because you got to remember, it's not just SA. Remember the beginning of the beginning of the movie. It's like years of abuse. It's not just SA. It's where that's normalized and she's talked down upon, and she had. Because remember, she's their niece, not their daughter. Her parents are killed.
That's right.
Her family are killed. Her being mute is what's symbolic. What she experienced is so horrifying that there's no word to describe it. That's why László can't. In this movie, he never once talked about what he experienced back home in the old country, and that's powerful in his silence. And every time these wasps talk about what they think they know, the movie kind of shows it a kind of an insult.
Yeah.
And even
it's
Harry,
like, how dare you talk about that?
Like Harry's Jr., like, why is she not a fappable? Why is she like that? She's kind of a bitch. And you're like, Adrien Brody suddenly breaks the fourth wall and say, did you get scraped by your father? Is that why you're such a little bitch? Maggie seems normal. Oh, that explains why Maggie's normal, because Harry is not into women. Harry's into boys.
Yeah.
Like a good Catholic church boy, right?
Man, and yeah, I think Zetzi, she didn't speak due to trauma, points out the period she lived in. Also, women didn't get a chance to express too freely. I also saw, like these like brief moments where they kind of show us how women are treated in the movie as well, because that was like that was before the civil rights movement. You know how Van Buren casually tells his daughter while they're all having a meeting to get some coffee or something. Yeah.
No, but the best scene to say fuck you to that is when Felicity Jones is sitting down and, do you not love me? And then she starts jerking him off. Like, fuck you, you love me, bitch. You love me, motherfucker, you're mine. And you're like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I love you. That's like I felt like that was like 200% like real thing happening in marriage. Like, fuck you, bitch. Come here. Give me the hit wrong. Like, fuck you. Like she's such a strong character. Because like, her being a survivor.
Yeah, survivor.
As soon as I saw the wheelchair, I'm like, she's not to be fucked with. And then when she's in bed, she's like, wait, you don't love me, bitch? You think you... Like, no, because like, her having that suffering, it's like, you think you went through hell, bitch? I starved, motherfucker. I starved enough that...
Now I'm on a wheelchair.
Yeah, there's no nutrition in my spine, fucker. Yeah, she didn't speak through the trauma. Yeah. Yeah, that's true, Leslie. So I'm gonna give this an 8 as well, though, because for me,
who's your boss now?
I'm gonna give this an 8 because I agree with you, Won-Jin. Where, for instance, like Once Upon a Time in America, when I first watched it, I must have watched it like 3 times in a row, and as the name suggests here, it's brutalist, right? Because you know what I like about Once Upon a Time in America? It's there's a classicness to it where, you know what an epic requires, Won-Jin? Love, heartbreak, sadness, laughter,
nostalgia.
Yeah. Very good, Won-Jin. I like that. Here, it was just a little bit too dark. Yeah. Like, remember, one of my favorite scenes in Once Upon a Time in America is when Robert Jr., the younger version, Robert Jr. looks at the door and looks at the woman. There's this innocence before it's broken here. But here, I guess the movie does it intentionally, but there's no respite. There's no innocence here lost so ever because they're already been lost. There's no innocence to be lost in front of our screen. They've been so fucked hard that they're drug addicts and being essayed on alleys. Oh, favorite? Who's your boss?
My favorite character in The Brutalist, I would say, is Adrien Brody. And his performance was tremendous here. It was amazing. Second favorite would be Felicity Jones.
Yeah.
Man.
No.
I kind of also hope Van Buren. Guy Pearce had more screen time too.
Hey, my favorite character is 100% Felicity Jones. Because while Adrien Brody got scraped and then hiding drug addict, she went up with her broken leg and say, "Hey, fuck you, rapist." Oh shit!
Oh no, rapist.
Fuck you, rapist.
Oh, therapist.
Oh, therapist. hey, you therapied my fucking. Look, and you know what? Zenzi, let me change the question. Guy Pearce was amazing in the film. Guy Pearce, like I haven't seen him play a villain like that since Lawless
or Prometheus.
Oh, this is like a combination of Lawless and Prometheus. Then, because here you see a patriarch, but Lawless was great in the fact that he had so many like weird quirks.
That's right.
Oh, you fucking hillbillies!
You could tell this guy was a creep,
and you can tell he hated these people. Like you fucking hillbillies.
By the way, my favorite character in that movie was
Tom Hardy's character.
No, not Tom Hardy. What's his name?
Who?
Gary Oldman.
Oh yeah.
Very brief, but he was so badass in that movie with the machine gun. Yeah.
Lawless was a great movie.
My least favorite is definitely Harry Jr. That motherfucker.
Yeah. No, but I
want to see him die.
I hated Attila more.
Oh, and Atilla. I forgot.
Yeah, because you know what I hated about Attila? You know, because their opening scene was really powerful. Like family, love. But he betrays his identity to throw away family.
And you could clearly tell that he was using his cousin to make money.
No, but he had honor enough to be honest with Van Duren, though.
Yeah.
He told him that it was his cousin that designed it.
Still, that does not forgive him for just throwing him off the streets. That was... And he knows that he has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
What kind of family is that?
Yo, Void, I hope you come back later and watch this, man, because we did this for you. Jojin Movie So Awesome is going to give this an 8, guys. Because I think Walker's waiting been long. So...
Oh, and in Honora, my favorite character would be Igor, hands down. My least favorite would be Vanya.
Yo. Let's do this and let's talk, guys. Anyway, Jojin Movie So Awesome gives this an 8. It's a solid movie. In one sentence, brilliant performance by Adrien Brody leads this very updated period drama. Anyway, this has been Jojin Movie So Awesome. I'm Joe.
I'm Won-Jin.
We're going to be back with Let's Talk. See y'all soon. Bye.
Oh, and another thing I liked about this movie was they actually spoke Hungarian. You know how in The Pianist, they're supposed to be in like Nazi-occupied Poland, and somehow they speak English.
No, but Won-Jin, you and I don't speak Hungarian, so it might be bad Hungarian. Did that never occur to you?
Well, we don't know that.
It might be garbage.
So we don't know that.
As you would say, garbage Hungarian.
But I heard that Adrien Brody's mother is from Hungary. So maybe he does speak some legit Hungarian. You never know.
You never know.
Trish is torturing me, but playfully. Favorite scene?
No. Turn it off! Let's talk. Sorry.
And before we go, I think László was happier when he was shoveling coal. Did you get that feeling? That he was actually happy there?
Maybe.
Anyways.
I actually didn't get that. I felt like he wanted to achieve what we got.
Remember, he didn't